Game time. We're going to do a little Let's Play of one of the most important gaming experiences I had growing up. So we are going to play through the original Pokemon game. Now I'm picking Pokemon Red. I actually grew up with Pokemon Blue. My brother had Red, even though I always picked Charmander as my starter. So that was just the way that it came about in Christmas. And when I received the game, I was actually super excited because blue was my favorite color. And I was very happy to have Pokemon Blue. So give me a second here because I am going to need to make sure that I open the controls because I think that I had it set to, no, it is on the keyboard. Okay, so let's do up, down, there we go. And then for A, I'll do Z, actually that and that. Okay, I think that should be good for now at least. I was using my Switch controller. So if you have a Mac and you have OpenEMU, which is a giant emulator that runs various ROMs, you can link up some of your more modern Bluetooth controllers to it to play. So let's try this now. All right. Technical glitches. I will be back in 1 moment. It always helps if you pay attention. I was trying to input a Super Nintendo controller to a Game Boy emulator, so they call me the professor and I don't even know how to do that. Anyway, time for a new game. Alright, now, I just gotta say, and we'll talk about this here, one of the many reasons that I'm nostalgic for Pokemon Gen 1 and 2 is that the rivals were way better back then. They were actually worthy of being called rivals, and we'll take a discussion about that later. Alright, let's get set up. Hello there. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Oak. People call me the Pokemon Professor. That's right. Don't ever forget it. This world is inhabited by creatures called Pokemon. Some people, Pokemon are pets. Others use them for fights. Myself, I study Pokemon as a profession. First, what is your name? Alright. So, the name that I give my characters in my games nowadays, it used to be chemist, due to my profession, but that is going to be the name we use. See if you can figure that out. Alright? Yes, my name is Novi. This is my grandson. He's been your rival since you were a baby. What is his name again? This grandfather does not know the name of his own grandson. There's all sorts of memes about that, but it is kind of ridiculous. So, I could pick out all sorts of interesting names here, but I think we're just going to go with Blue, because my favorite character in the entire Pokemon universe, if you want to talk, you know how there's like Marvel Universe and all that kind of stuff. So in the Pokemon universe, my favorite character far and away is Blue, the original rival. I love Blue. He's arrogant. He's sure of himself. He's awesome. So he also gave you a good reason to train, because every time that you would come across him, he would just be talking up a storm and talking smack to you 24/7 about how much better he was, and it would really get under your skin. So I'm going to go with Blue. For those of you that are Japanese-based players, I know that his original name was Green. I don't want to hear it. It's Blue, okay? Because that's what I grew up with. So we're calling him Blue. Let's go. Alright, his name is Blue. Now, I do have another name that I put in, but because this is a public channel, I'm not going to put the name of my particular person that I always put in there as my rival, just for the sake of their own privacy. Not that anybody could really figure that out. Alright, Novi. Your legend's about to unfold. Man, this is like straight back to 1999, 98. Look, they've got a Super Nintendo playing the SNES. And then in all the other games, they always have, whatever the newest one is. So I saw in the Diamond and Pearl remakes that are coming out, they have, the Switch. All right. So we're going to withdraw item. Always make sure you take your potion because your rival is going to end up being a complete butt and trying to challenge you right off the bat before you ever get to start your adventure and you grab your Pokemon. He's going to come right out the gate and start challenging you. Again, one of the many reasons, okay, outside of nostalgia. So in all fairness, if you grew up with a specific game, right, you're going to be attached to that game. But one of the many reasons I think that this game, as well as Gold and Silver and Crystal, if you lump it in there, is a cut above, is because the rival in this is far more worthy of being a rival, okay? So if you go to like Gen 3 and above, first of all, well, you know what? We'll see. We'll look right here, okay? All right, so first of all, he's irritated, right? So right off the bat, it gives you vibes of like, who's this other kid that thinks his time is more important than the professors? Like, shape up. You're in school, kid, right? We're about to learn. All right, now, that's right. I told you to come, okay? And now, look, I love Blue. He's my favorite character, but he is really stupid right here, okay? So what he does, and I understand the excitement to get your first Pokemon, okay? He says, the professor says there's Pokemon inside. When I was young, I was a serious Pokemon trainer. I only have 3 left, but you can have one. Choose. Now look at this. Hey, what about me? Okay? And he says, be patient, Blue. You can have one too. Now, he's being cool to his grandson. And do you know why? Because by going second, you're getting to pick the type advantage over whoever went first. So a lot of people think he's just being impatient, which he is. He's actually being quite moronic by trying to pick first. You want to wait and see what the opponent picks so that you can get type advantage if you really want to take them out, right? And he ends up doing that anyway, but his Gramps just saved him here, right? The professor knows what's going on. He's like, yo, hold up and slow down. Let this kid pick, because then if you really want to trash him, you'll have type advantage, okay? Now, back when I was young, this was never a struggle, okay? It was Charmander. That was it. So here's the choices, right? We've got Charmander over on the left, okay? That is the one I'm taking, okay? We're going to kind of relive this the way that when I initially had it in the late 90s that I was, training it up. So nowadays, if I'm actually playing for my own enjoyment, I am very, very attached to both this guy and this guy, okay? I'm sorry for everybody that likes, Bulbasaur is cute, but I am not at least for Gen 1, I'm not a grass starter. I don't do Venusaur. I know he doesn't get as much love. I know he has all of the type advantages in the first gyms. No disrespect to anybody that likes Venusaur. That was not my get-up. So, it's Charizard. Blastoise, I go back and forth sometimes, right? But I always wanted Charmander. Now, my brother always wanted Venusaur when we were growing up. All right. Do I want to give a nickname? A lot of people do this. I cannot stand nicknaming my Pokemon. I'm like, it's a Charmander, right? And part of that's from in the game when it's like, what do they say? They'll throw the Pokeball and they're like, go Charizard. I wanted to do the same thing as a kid, right? I wanted to say the Pokemon's name, not like go Fiery or go Fire Lizard or whatever. So no, Charmander's the name. All right. Now, of course, this little turd's going to go and pick out Squirtle so that he can try to trash me, right? Okay. Now, watch this. Okay, this is what makes the rival. It's like right from the start, this irritates you, right? I mean, maybe you enjoyed it, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna go, and then he's just like, yo, hold up, I want to beat your rear end, right, into submission before I head out myself. I'm just like, excuse me, we just started. Competitive spirit. All right. Now, in other games, this isn't as much of a problem, right? And the reason for that, well, there's 2 reasons. Number 1, you're usually not challenged right off the bat. So even in Gold and Silver, you have a chance to train up your starter first before Silver runs into you after he has stolen the type advantage Pokemon over yours. But in the other gens, you can still also train up. But what they started doing that made it worse as the gens went on is that your rival would pick out the type disadvantage to you. And I'm like, what does it mean to be a rival? It's supposed to be somebody that you're striving against, somebody that you're competing with, somebody that you view, whether it's a friendly competition or an aggressive competition, they're pushing you to be better. So picking out a type disadvantage on me is not doing me any favors. It's boosting my confidence artificially. Now this, right, when I have to fight him throughout the game, I'm going to be having to send my Charizard with type disadvantage up against the Blastoise. Now, at some point, we won't be doing that because we'll have, some good grass or electric Pokemon. But at the start, it's still the general premise that he was kind of waiting and seeing what you picked and then picks the type disadvantage over you so that he could have it easier. All right. I'm hoping he just doesn't land a critical hit here. All right. Just in case we miss or something like that, we're going to potion up. Again, that's why you always take your potion with you. Okay. All right. Almost. All right. There we go. And of course, you get your first level boost here, right? So provided you can beat your rival, it gives you a nice confidence boost. You boost up and you get to see a level up right away with your first opponent defeat. And of course, he's like, I picked the wrong Pokemon. It's just like, no, I just came prepared because you're a fool. Okay, I'll make my... I'm talking a bunch of trash on him right now, right? Because, again, he was a good rival, but his theme, his attitude, he makes himself one of my favorites. I love Red, too, who's the original trainer you're playing here. And I love Oak. I like a lot of people. Some of the original gym trainers, especially Blaine, because I love fire. That's my favorite type, so... but yeah, Blue is definitely my favorite of the bunch. Alright, so now we need to go up, right? And we have to get the package. And we have to bring it back to Professor Oak. So, we'll try to get up there. I'm going to make most of these about like 15 minutes a piece. So by the time we get it, come back. I want to do a little bit of grinding. So I'm probably going to try to find a couple of Rattatas and Pidgeys to level up on. And then we'll keep it going. I don't need that. There we go. There's the mark. I also used to hate growing up. This very first shop had like such limited items. I can't remember if it was you couldn't get was it potions? It was potions or Pokeballs or something. I think it was potions that you couldn't buy at the first shop. Maybe it was Pokeballs. I was just like, what is this? Now obviously as you go along, right, the further you go in the game, the shops have better items, but I just remember, I always felt like, look, there's 3 things I'm going to need to start out the adventure, right? Or even 2. It's potions and Pokeballs. I need to be able to collect Pokemon I'm coming across to buff up my team. And then I need to be able to heal if I'm not near a Pokemon Center. So, and I can't remember which of the 2 it didn't have, but it's like, it would always irritate me when I was growing up. Alright. And we'll see, because this is probably going to be a long playthrough series at 15 minutes apiece. And I'm not doing any sort of speed running or stuff like that. But we may try to complete the Pokedex. I don't know how easy that would be, because I'm on an emulator, so I don't know if... I'd have to look into, like, can you actually trade on an emulator? I don't know that you can that easily, so... We might just play through. And then maybe at some point I can show you some of my actual... like my Game Boy Advance with the Pokemon Fire Red game that I have. I have been working on my Pokedex on that one right now, so... I'll be honest, a lot of the Pokedexes that I have complete are from the modern games, and that's because, I don't want to say they nerf the difficulty, but they make certain parts of it easier, right? So the fact that there's like a global trade network now where you can just put up whatever Pokemon you're interested in and say, hey, I can trade for this, right? And they have the Wonder Trade where you just randomly trade a Pokemon and you get one in return. It's a lot easier to flesh out your Pokedex. So, granted, you know, there's like 700 plus 800 Pokemon now or something like that. But the fact that you can just essentially sit there and loop through and get random Pokemon sent to you through a trade system, it makes it way easier than back in the day where you had to go find somebody that had the opposite game, link up, and actually trade that, right? So it's a shame when you're playing on emulators and stuff like that, because some of the Pokemon, you had to trade them to get them. And they were some of the premium ones, like Alakazam, Gengar, right? Machamp, all of those third stage evolutions that were kind of coveted were through trading. You had to trade with a partner. So, but that's all right. We still got plenty of good ones. I usually have certain go-tos for my team. Obviously, Charizard will be one of them. I do try to pick up, and we'll see this in a future episode, I do try to pick up a Pikachu in Viridian Forest. And the main reasoning behind that, outside of the fact that I like Raichu as a Pokemon, is that Misty's gym is water-based. That's the second gym. And you're already at somewhat of a type disadvantage for Brock. You're not necessarily type disadvantaged as much as Charmander's just not going to affect rock-based Pokemon the way he can affect, or the way that Squirtle and Bulbasaur can affect them, right? So the other two starters have high effectiveness against the first gym, whereas Charmander's just kind of neutral. He doesn't really make a big dent in the first gym leader. Okay, now that is not the case when you get to Misty. So with Misty, the second gym leader, it's water. So you're at a complete type disadvantage. So it's like you kind of have neutral, and then you have type disadvantage if you go with Charmander. So Charmander was the hard path. You really had to carve out and make an effort. We're going to have Mom heal us up here for a minute. Okay. All right. So this is where we will drop off here. Okay, so we're going to take the little parcel to Professor Oak here, and that is where we'll pick up with the next episode. So I'm going to stop it here. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and we are just going to relive through this experience, and we'll do some Let's Plays on the channel as well, in addition to cards. It's just going to be a gaming hobby type channel. So Professor out, and I will see you guys next time.